What a breathtaking landscape. Can you believe our foes lurk here? How do you plan to tackle these challenges? Breathtaking landscape. Can you believe our foes lurk here? How do you plan to tackle these challenges? Breathtaking landscape. Can you believe our foes lurk here? How do you plan to tackle these challenges? Breathtaking landscape. Can you believe our foes lurk here? How do you plan to tackle these challenges? Breathtaking landscape. Can you believe our foes lurk here? How do you plan to tackle these challenges? Breathtaking landscape. Can you believe our foes lurk?
No, I swear I'm not late. I am late, but it's not a tech issue. Honestly, if you must know, I'm finishing like 3 bites of noodles because people obviously get mad at me when I eat on the show, and I don't want to be hungry on the show, and I'm on Ozempic, so I have to eat every 3 goddamn hours, and that's, I'll be right in. There's Tech Protect right there. There you go. I thought you guys were going swimming. What kind of noodles? I don't know. I stole them from Tech's fridge. No, I got a cup of noodle stir fry. Sorry, Joker. Hey, joining from Gene's retweet. I appreciate that. I miss Gene Park, man. I like that I'm seeing him tweeting more. That would suggest that maybe he's starting to feel, he's still going through the shit, I assume, but it's nice to see he's, still fighting the fight and putting his opinion out there. I hope he's doing great. I haven't talked to him in about 2 months, but he's in my thoughts quite a bit. Yeah, I heard you might be sick, Tech. Sarah thought you had a urinary tract infection, and I'm like, no. What? Anyway, we'll start in a sec. All right, you delightful dingoes. Good to see everybody. Thank you for being patient with me while I finished eating some cup of noodle stir fry. They're the sponsor. They're not. Can you imagine? Welcome to the show. Good to see everybody. Happy Sunday. Let's begin. What are you going to do? What's up, fellas? Nice to see everybody. Okay. We got a lot to talk about. We were talking earlier in the stream. Yes, I miss Gene's streams as well. I miss seeing Gene out there, not just on the show he and I would do together, which hopefully we will do again, which, by the way, continually reminds me I need to send him a check. It's not a big check. We, after YouTube takes their cut, and we didn't make that much, but we did okay. I assume I haven't factored it in, but Alexa, remind me in 4 hours to send Gene money. She doesn't want to. Alexa, remind me in 4 hours to send Gene money.
Just a second, please. I'll remind you in 4 hours.
Cool. But yeah, no, we did okay, but it was a growing show and it was starting to take off. And then obviously Gene, the universe was like, fuck you, Gene Park. But Gene Park, as always, is fighting back. And I expect to be back in all forms and fashion as soon as possible. But we should run it on his channel because I'm absolutely terrible when it comes to running a business. Obviously, I got to pay people. Is he still writing for the Washington Post? My understanding is he is. He's one of the few guys that have not gotten laid off at that institution. All that shit's collapsing, man. It's a real tragedy, but I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that. Not the Washington Post, but just sort of media in general on this show. Okay, welcome to the show. I want to say a special welcome to a guy who just subscribed to the channel, Javo. I want to bring him up because he says it is the 21st year of God of War. Real fans, real history, and the full physical collection. He sent us a picture. Let's check this guy out. He is a fan through and through, and we really appreciate it, buddy. Here he is right here. He's got all the Greek games in there. He's got the Norse games in there. He's got some statues, t-shirts, Blades of Chaos in the background. Hell, he's got a full head of hair, but he shaved it just to be like his hero, Atreus. I'm kidding. He's no one's hero is Atreus. But thank you for that. Thank you for being part of our show. We appreciate it very, very much, and being a fan of the game that I got to work on with a very talented, exceptional team. We appreciate it, buddy. Watch the video for Gun Nose. Pure indie goodness, says KP Projections. I'll pull that up in a little bit. What's up with the Ben Shapiro eyebrows in your thumbnail? That doesn't look like you. Well, I'll tell you what's going on with that in 1 second. Let me load up Gun Nose, because otherwise I'll forget. Gun Nose. Is that how you spell it? Official Kickstarter trailer. From a month ago. Okay, I'll put this, or there's a section of the show today we're going to be looking at some cool trailers. I will move this there. If I can fucking find it. 1 sec, fellas. It's Sunday, man. It's like, yeah, we know it's Sunday, Jaffe. We're on vacation. You're not. So show up. I am showing up. I'm here, man. I'm here. No, what you're talking about, thank you, One Pump Man, appreciate that. What you're talking about is this. So this is actually kind of weird in a good way. I don't mind AI. People have literally written me in the comments and said, dude, shame on you. You're using AI. What are you doing AI slop for? Yes, I use AI. I absolutely do. And in this case, all I did was I fed it my thumbnail that I had made, and I said, look, pop it a little bit with the lighting and the shadows and the color and the saturation, because I'm not an artist, and but I know that my inability to capture the eyeballs on YouTube when it comes to thumbnails is relatively poor. And so it spat this out, and I figured it was good enough. And to me, it is good enough. You're here. You get the idea. But it is funny if you kind of actually look at it in detail and look in the background. Like little things like Jaffe is totally rewritten on the cup here. That's not what we have in the background. My favorite, though, is the Buddha. The Buddha in real life is the Buddha statue, and then there's a little tiny Buddha sitting in his lap. But the thumbnail makes it look like it's the Buddha cock, and it looks like he's just got his dick coming out of his pantyhose, and he's off to the goddamn races. You know how that works. And I don't know why Cookie Monster's wearing a gold medal, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at. You're not meaning to see video. You're meaning to see this image. You're telling me you can't see the image? Okay. It's basically DLSS5. Yeah. We'll talk about that in just a second. What's the rumor on the new God of War at Sony Santa Monica, says Danny. Do you think it's Egypt? Well, I will not tell you that. So we talked about it last week on the stream. There was a leak about the Freya game that Corey is working on, and I won't speak to what that leak is supposed to be, assuming it's even true. But true, not true, whatever. let's just say it might be true, because why not? And it seemed true and it seemed cool. And I was just like, well, so I don't want to spoil anything. So I can tell you though, from just, if you're interested, go look it up, whether the rumor's true or not. It does kind of address some of your issues, but I don't want to speak to it because I don't want to contribute to that. Okay. I want to tell you a couple things before we get totally into it. I'm trying to remember what it was last night that occurred to me. I was getting really kind of just in a bad mood. I think, I know what it was. Okay, hang on. I got to turn on my fan for this. It makes no sense. Hang on. I know what it was. Okay, so I am playing this game that I'm really loving right now, and I'm just going to show you it. I'm not playing games on this stream. This is a discussing game stream, but I do want to show you the game briefly, just to give you an idea of what it is. It was one of my lowest game streams. I streamed it this weekend. It's called Retro Rewind. Two guys made it. It's basically a video store simulator. It is not anything you haven't seen before in terms of pure mechanics, but I am absolutely addicted. I love it. I love it because I came up in this generation, even before Blockbuster. I came up with mom and pop video stores. And so I have been building out my video store all weekend. I just added a sci-fi horror section. And I started getting, it's not open yet. We're on the last day of Halloween, so I put in a lot of chocolate because chocolate sells for 50% more. Loving the game, right? And I started getting not just nostalgic for the 80s and 90s. Oh, and there was something else. The kind of, it's kind of getting long in the tooth, but the kind of like, what were you like in the 90s? And my buddy who I worked with on God of War and Twisted Metal Black, and he's been out, he made the game Adrift, Adam Worth. He's now, I think, just started a new job at a new video game company as the CEO, I think. He posted this or reposted this thing about what Santa Monica was like in the 90s and early 2000s. And I just started getting really, nostalgic, and really not just nostalgic, but feeling like, everything has gotten so much shittier. Everything has just gotten, everything is just so fucking heartless these days that I was just like, and then this game pushed me over the edge, right? So, but I will say, if this even looks semi appealing to you, here's my adult section. The big hit movie right now in the adult section is, do I have room for it? Where is it? It's very filthy. It's a very filthy movie. Somebody might have it rented out. Although they're really soaking my uncle. Officer, let my spell book go. Extra large husband, please. My flower, her desire. Iris is a very good song. I agree. I love that song. But I set this up. I made enough money to expand it. So I bought a robot who looks like, Johnny Five. It's really cool. So, here's the other adult one. This is called Chocolate Covered Marine. I don't have to tell you about that. But it rents a lot. It does well. And then I've hired an employee. That's not the point of the story, but when it's Halloween, this is a really good game. And I will also say, a lot of these store simulators, one of the things this does really well is they give you a number of things to chase. So you've got your task list here that gives you, it's nothing special. It's not like other games don't do it, but I don't see a lot of simulator games like simulator slop, as the kids say, with this much thought and in terms of hooking you and keeping you playing. When it's rainy, you have more people renting videos. On the weekends, it's Halloween right now, so horror movies sell better. It's really, really fun. But anyway, and now that I see it, I just want to fucking play the game. Be Kind Rewind. Yeah, well, when they bring movies back, you have a rewinder here. You can reserve them. I love this game, clearly. I'm very, very excited about this fucking game. So whatever. That's not the point. The point is I'm playing this, and it gets me into that nostalgic feeling, blah, blah, blah. And then I start kind of thinking about how shitty everything is in 2026 and how I can't stand a lot of the politics that are going on. And it just, and I went down a bit of a rabbit hole. And so I know this is a game show, I promise you guys, but it's also Sunday, so fuck off. It's the Lord's Day. It's the Lord's Day. Doing that comedy bit, I just did that. It's the Lord. Remember I shouted that? That hurt me. Hurt my head. But I go to the goddamn computer and I said to it, please help me. Stop. I'm so tired of how angry the internet makes me all the time. And I'm like, has somebody invented something that can allow me to enjoy the internet like I kind of used to? And somebody says, well, hey, not somebody, is AI, Google Gemini, is like, first off, you should go back to the RSS feeds, which I haven't fucked with in a decade. But I totally have started using this instead. I no longer just go to the internet. I have it curated through this, so there's no algorithm. It is absolutely just the stuff I like and the news I like. And I don't mean that the news is happy. I'm still looking at news that might disturb me, but it's not engineered to make me pissed. But then I just want to bring this to your attention. This is the way that the Twitter was always working before. And I don't really understand what has changed, because now it works like this again. And basically what Twitter had done forever, for me anyway, is it would default to For You, which was the algorithm. And I'm just kind of like, you know what? Fuck Twitter. I can't anymore. It just makes me angry all the time. It's, you know what it is. You don't need me to tell you. But it does to you what it does to me. It serves up the worst shit. It makes you pissed because they make money that way. But somewhere along the line, they switched it on the desktop version. I don't know about the mobile version, where if you click on following and then popular or recent, and recent's like old Instagram, but recent I don't like recent as much as popular. It just serves people that you are following. And if you go to another website, okay, there's IGN, and I want to go back to Twitter. Come on now. What's going on? And I want to go back to Twitter. It defaults to following and popular. And I have had such a much nicer time on the goddamn Twitter lately, because it's just the people that I chose. And even now when somebody that I chose sends a repost, like I don't mind this one, but if you, even now it says like Dead End David, who I do follow, served up this thing, Vivid Void. Well, I don't have a problem with it, but if I did, I can now go over here and go, where is it? You can block. There's somewhere you can go. I did it earlier where you can you go to Dead End David and you're like, I don't want to see any of his shit. Turn off reposts. So if you've got a friend that you want to keep following, but you don't want to listen to his political shit or whatever, you just, that he reposts, you can still follow him, but it turns off his repost. Now, none of this shit was working for me for a long time, but it started working, and I don't know if Twitter was losing followers and they were like, let's do something to fix it. I have no idea if it was a setting that when I upgraded Chrome, it finally took and it had never taken in I have no clue. But I will tell you that it brings back a little of my common sense and peace in my goddamn life, because I was getting pissed. So in the next 2 weeks, as I go through this experiment, which I'm loving so far, we'll see if you guys can notice a change. But I'm just tired of being mad, man. I'm sick of being mad. Let's get into some video game stuff now. I know that's why most of you are here, except for my charming persona. Wink. Jaffe's coping to us about how his Twitto echo chamber, says Elijah. Yeah, I am. I absolutely am. Stick Storage Unit says, Dave, I hope you're paying good medical for tech. He looks sore. Yeah, he got his ass handed to him in a bit of a, it wasn't really a fight, but a shoving match at Fat Camp on the LCU. And then they called me and says, I think he has a urinary tract infection. He's got a cold. He's sick. Darth Nugget says the following tab has made Twitter far, far better. Notice that coming back a while back, and the fact that you can sort by popular and not most recent. Yeah. Well, again, the weird part about it is they've had it forever. I think they've always had it, but they would default to For You because that's where they make most of their money. So think about that, man. These guys have to be bleeding money somehow in order to get people to say, to get Twitter to say, we're going to make a change, you know? Okay. I love how Jaffe selectively censors my chat, says Stick. No, it's just that some of them are interesting and some of them I don't want to read. You don't have you can type whatever you want, but unless you pay me for it, you're not going to fucking get a readout just because you typed it, you son of a bitch. All right. You didn't even notice there was a following tab on mobile until you said it? Yeah. It makes a huge fucking difference as to what this experience is like. 1,000 true. Now, into video games we go. I wanted to post this just because, you know, it really made me think of Corey. Somebody I do follow, or I don't know if I follow this person, said, the most attractive thing a person can do is isolate for a long time and emerge with something impressive. Music, writing, sculpture, I suppose, because it's all made up. Whatever it is, shows competence passing the marshmallow test, meaning if you have marshmallows in front of you, you won't eat it till you, I think it's like you put 2 marshmallows in front of someone and it's like, hey, you'll get 5 if you don't eat these 2 for an hour or something. Basically means you have some self-discipline. Inner dialogue, patience, commitment, bravery in the face of potential failure. And yeah, it's one thing I will say about Corey that I've always noticed. When Corey is on and he is out there, you know, doing the press and he's doing his blog and stuff, it's clear he enjoys it, and it's clear it's part of, there's value to it for him. But he does do a very good job when it's time to work and make the product. He just goes away. Like you notice, you barely see Corey tweeting. You barely hear. Nathan says it's a tolerance for solitude. It did interest me, though, this tweet, because it's like I've always hated that. Obviously, I wrote 100%. I've always been and remain rubbish at doing this. I enjoy the chaos, attention, drama too much. Part of doing it in the public eye was being in the public eye and having fun with that. And I think with Corey, he's just really good at being able to say, okay, that's its own little thing. Now it's all about the work. And with games being, I would argue, and I think this is correct, other than like a long form, multi-season TV series, games are probably the medium that take the longest on the whole to gestate and to be ready to come out to the world. You're spending, if Corey's game comes out in 2027, which I have a hard time believing, but let's assume it comes out, that's 9 years between his last game and this game. I couldn't wait fucking 9 years to be a loudmouth motherfucker. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I find, says Cyanide, after climbing some kind of personal journey, that reaching your goal can often be hollow. Then you miss the suffering in the process. Yeah, I get that. I get that. I think a lot of, you know what? I got that when I was younger. A lot of stuff that I chased when I was younger, I wasn't really chasing after what I wanted. I was chasing after the feeling of getting something, the feeling state of getting what I wanted. But I didn't realize it was a feeling I was after. So I just, made it synonymous with, if I'm a successful, well-known video game guy. But that's not really what I cared about. I wasn't in love with coming in and making video games. But it takes time to learn that. It takes time to kind of grow into that awareness of yourself. Da Vinci says Barlog is just better at life. So much better is depressing to think about it. I don't know about that, but sure, fine. Whatever gets you through the night, you whore. Will, I'll just call you Will. Jaffe, love your content. Hope to see you on Sacred Streaming again soon. You and Colin are the dynamic duo. I will be on Sacred Streaming tomorrow morning, or at least California time morning, at 11 a.m. I think that's 2 p.m. East Coast. So I'll be on Lolcow Crypt tomorrow at 7 a.m. California time, and a few hours later, I will be doing a Sacred Streaming with Colin. Speaking of, And I was going to put this a little later, but since we're talking about Colin, I want to put this up. Somebody sent me this. And Colin, just so it's clear, this Sacred Symbols, the recent Sacred Symbols went up, and somebody linked it to me. And, you know, in between that and when I reached out to Colin, because I wanted to ask him about this, he reached out and said, hey, can you come do the show Monday? And like I always say, unless I've already got plans, I'm always there. You know, I love doing that show. I love doing that with Colin and Dustin. But I want to, but this is what somebody tweeted me the timestamp for this. I want to show you this because it does kind of tie into what we're talking about on the front side of the show today, whether it's DLSS 5 or what Gene Park tweeted about GeForce Now, or what's happening with AI in Crimson Desert. Check this out. Lennon says, Jaffe, could you put the topic being discussed at the moment on screen? No, because that would require organization. So for example, right now, the topic we're supposed to be getting into is what I'm playing, but we already covered most of that. And then I was going to talk briefly about the resurgence of Modern Warfare 2019. And then I was going to get into Sacred Symbols. But how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that now? Right? I couldn't do it. But I love the idea. The Iron Lords do it. I can't do it, though. Okay, here we go. This is the thing. Somebody wrote into Sacred, and this is what they said. And this isn't Sacred Streaming. This is Sacred Symbols, this is on YouTube. So this is, even though I am a subscriber on Patreon, but I don't think I'm showing you something that isn't live for everyone else already, because I wouldn't want to do that. But I don't think this is for everyone, I believe. And if not, I'm only going to show you like 40 seconds of it.
Said, hi, CDC. I'm a noticer. I notice things. I notice when it's convenient, like being there for the truckers and the shift workers. LSM is a podcast network first and foremost, but when it comes to shifting the best and most dynamic episodes of Sacred Plus with Jaffe to a YouTube exclusive with no audio podcast option, it has nothing to do with the business or the podcast at all of a sudden. You're going to do whatever you want, but I notice. I'm a noticer. People have been asking us to make Moriarty Cross Jaffe in a podcast. I don't want to do that. It's a YouTube show. I don't want to flood the RSS feeds with random things that people don't want. Jaffe is too divisive. I personally love David Jaffe. I love him as a person. I love him as a friend. I love him as a designer of games. I love him as a commentator. I will be honest and say that the more that I've done things with him, the more I have learned that even people in my own circle don't really like him. You know, like people that I love, you know, and I'm like, well, I'm not. So if that's true, then obviously it's like it's hit or miss with other people, and has nothing to really do with the LSM business. So I don't know. I don't want to do it. What do you think?
Jaffe had the
all right, then it gets into technical podcast stuff. So I watched this, and you know, I was a little bothered by it. Not Colin's take. Colin called me even before I let him know I had seen this and said, "Hey, come on Monday's show." And to the credit of Colin, but also putting me in there, you know, all of our sacred streamings that we do, other than when they're like broadcasting, you know, state of plays or something, kick the shit out of all their other content. So numerically speaking, in terms of the watch time and in terms of the number of people watching. And so I'm very grateful they keep having me back, and I think we're putting out a good product, and I love the people that watch it and enjoy it. But what I'll say though is it still bothered me because there are a number of people in the LSM environment that I really like, you know, and I'm not going to tell you. I wrote Colin and I said, talk to me about this. And I said, what do you think creates this? Because I don't think I'm mean to people. And, you know, I think the takeaway was for some people, you're just too brash. And I get that. I mean, that does not surprise me. I won't tell you who he said that were fans of mine at LSM, but let's just say they were the people that I was happy to hear were fans of mine. And it's not my place to tell you who they are. But once I found out those people don't have any issues with me, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't care about, you know, the other people. But I get, yeah, I'm not bothered at all by what Colin is saying. I think he's right, but I think I think there is something that ties into some of the other stories we're about to get to that really, to me, feels similar, right? It reminds me, and I'm sure Colin and I will talk about this tomorrow, it reminds me of this clip that I'm sure you guys have seen. I don't know what, if any, kind of problems these guys will have, but please no, Dustin is not on that list. I like Dustin a great deal. If you guys aren't able to track the show I do with Dustin and Colin and recognize that we're fucking around, I can't help you. I cannot help you. Is it the actual personalities that have a problem with you, or just that their fan bases? I have no way of knowing that. It may be a bit of both. There are definitely some people, and Colin, to his credit, is not going to tell me, and I told him I didn't want to know, but he's not going to tell me the people that have problems with me. But he did tell me the people, he's like, I think it goes both ways, and here are the people I know that really, really dig you. And once I saw that list, I'm like, oh, I'm good. I don't really care about the other ones, but I'm not going to say names. But I will say no. If you guys are guessing it's Dustin, no, I'm a big fan of Dustin. Okay. But look at this. Look at this. You guys, this, I can't imagine, unless maybe you guys educate me as we listen to it together, it's only 40 seconds, that this is not going to hang around Digital Foundry's neck forever, as it should. But it's a bigger point. Here we go.
I'm going to kick off, first of all, by holding my hand up and saying that, yeah, we understand a lot of the feedback to the video. And I don't think we did a good enough job on the day. We had a lot to say, not a lot of time to say it. And we went straight from seeing the demos into making the video.
He's talking about when they made the video praising DLSS5, which obviously upset a lot of people.
And yeah, beyond that, hindsight is a wonderful thing, right? But we should have taken more time with the material. And I think it would have been prudent to wait to see the reaction from the audience and the developers to the keynote. And yeah, audience and developers, both super important to what we do. Opinion is clearly divided on this one, but looking over social media, it's been interesting to see varying opinions from both sides of the argument, audience and developers alike. Even so, lessons learned. I'm going to kick off, first of all, by...
So now, here's what it sounds like he's saying. And I don't know... If you pinned him down, he would say, this is what I'm saying. No, I like COG very much. I like King David very, very much. Well, he's not on LSM. No, I'm a huge fan of COG. No. But I love that where I freeze framed it. That's awesome. But, you know, my takeaway is that he's saying that we should have waited to see what the audience response was before we gave you our opinion. And maybe that's not what he's saying. Maybe he's saying something else and he just didn't phrase it particularly well. But it's troubling, and it makes me why I showed you the Colin thing to begin with is, because it bothers me so much that I put such a premium on honesty. And since I just do commentary, my honesty can't be right or wrong. It's only right in the sense that it's how I feel. But people should know by now that I don't lie. I don't lie in my real life. I don't lie here. I may take data away from you that I have because it's not mine to share. But short of that, it's not Colin's mom. I even asked him because I adore Colin's mom. I've met her once and she's delightful. I'm like, please tell me your mom's not one of these people. And she wasn't, which made me happy. But, you know, I don't lie to people. And I'm honest and I'm brash and I'm, you know, part of it's entertainment and making it more interesting. But part of it's also just I'm passionate about this stuff. I made games. I've played games since I was a kid. I fucking love video games. I love media. I'm just a passionate guy. And so I definitely am bothered then when you basically have one of the most beloved group of commentators, which is Digital Foundry. And they're literally saying to you, we tell you, they are literally saying it. They're not literally saying it, but they are pretty much saying, what you want to hear matters to us, and we will craft our message to give you what you want, not what we value and what we should all value, which is the truth. And thus, when you start quoting what Digital Foundry says, and it actually, even though I never saw any of this when I worked at Sony, I never saw payola. I never saw, a conscious sense of IGN. Maybe they make more advertising dollars off Sony than Xbox, so there is an Xbox tax. None of that ever presented itself. And the people I know who worked at Game Informer, IGN, whatever, there's no evidence that occurred. But maybe there is evidence, though, that while they're not getting paid for it, they know what side of the fence or what side of the bread they're buttered. Are you there? God, it's me, Margaret. I don't know where I'm going with this one. What side of the bread their butter's on? And so they're like, look, more of our fans, we get more clicks when we rah-rah PlayStation. Doesn't matter what we think. We're like any other business. More people buy French fries at McDonald's and tater tots. We're serving French fries, right? Maybe that, and maybe I've been naive to diss that, maybe because I thought it would be a literal Xbox tax. They're told by the powers that be, don't shine for Xbox as much as you do for PlayStation. I don't think that's it. And that's why I didn't believe it, because I never saw it. But I do go, this makes a great deal of sense that they will keep their access and they will keep their fans happy because they're in the business of pleasing their fans. They're not in the business of developing a product, aka their streams or their magazines or their web pages or their videos, that is a good product because it's honest. It's honest enough that it can play as honest, but it's bullshit enough that it can basically keep the audience that they have happy and fed and thus supporting them. And I'm not suggesting that is exactly what is happening at every outlet, but I am suggesting that this was a bit of a splash of cold water in my face that he would say this. And then that they would let him put it up. I don't think they've walked this back. I do not think they've walked this back. But what I will tell you is all of the people that are saying, oh, well, Jaffe's too brash or this, that, my stylings may not be for you, but I ain't going to lie to you. I'll tell you how I see it. And how I see it is subjective. I could be wrong. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, you tell me in the chat what you think about this. Do you think what he said is literally what he meant? Because if it wasn't, then it's almost like they would pull this, right? Or they would issue a look, we were caught up in the hype because people were really upset with us. This is what we meant to say, because it doesn't sound good for these guys. Let me change his. Let me change his face. I know I didn't do that on purpose. I've never met the guy. It's just that's his face, man. My face is the same way. I agree, Jeeves. I think people are too sensitive, but Adam Blue says it's crazy. Proves many assumptions about the industry. Could even say Highguard was a victim of this. Possibly. If you know someone's opinions are strong and truthful, it's their fault for asking if they get offended. Well, again, it's not even truthful. They're opinions. So take God of War, Sons of Sparta. And the Matthews says, Jaffe, did you give up on 2D God of War? I got about 4 hours in. I don't know if I even like it. Yeah, I gave up. I played it once and I spent $40 and I'll never go back to it. Now, maybe people thought that was brash that I said that, but I work for this audience. Seriously, I'm not trying to shine myself at these people's expenses, but I will say there is a little bit of a victory lap vibe for me, not because I've suddenly gained a lot of people watching my shit, but because it's just like, you know what? At least you know now. At least you fucking know that some of these people seem to be willing to say whatever to keep you happy. And by the way, that's fine. If you go to Digital Foundry because what they say makes you happy, that's a fine business model. But that's not the business I'm in. I'm assuming that you're going to be the real fans of this content we make will be happy because they know I'm truthful with them about my opinion, is what I will say. So, Lennon says the fact he said this and didn't walk it back is crazy. There's no way he meant this, or maybe he did. I don't know. I'm with you. Do you feel like the new God of War wasn't to your liking for the series? I've said that many times. I did love 2018, and I really enjoyed Valhalla. And I'm actually quite happy the guy who directed, or one of the directors of Valhalla, is directing the remakes. But I did not really like Ragnarok. And even though I loved 2018, I feel that they wrote themselves into a fucking corner. Absolutely. Absolutely. Was 9/11 an inside job? It was something. I don't know if it was an inside job, but I definitely think everything we've been told is not the whole story or the true story. Whether that means we placed bombs in buildings or whether that means we knew it was going to happen and we let it happen as a motivation to go to war. Although now what we've just learned is we don't really need the government to sell us on a war. They just go. What's funny, says Carlos, in the same podcast you showed, Dustin said one of the Digital Foundry guys got mad at Gene for being on Colin's podcast. Fuck those frauds. Yeah, I don't know anything. I don't know these guys. I've never met any of them. I've never talked to them. I've never exchanged pleasantries or anything like that on social media. So perhaps. Okay. So here's this very clever guy, Gene Steps. Relax, bruh. We're not bruhs. I know you're using it condescendingly, but I assure you, based on what follows in this sentence, we're never going to be bruhs. So don't even go there. You're purposely misrepresenting and downplaying DLSS5 and how it works. I barely know how it works, and I probably don't know how it works. The difference is I don't care. I like what they've shown. I think it's cool. Last Line Official says, I like Digital Foundry, but that DLSS5 video is very disappointing and telling that they didn't have John on there, given he certainly disagreed strongly. Although they did say that, they did say that they were so excited coming out of the press conference that they just made the video. So I don't think it was, any kind of, they were consciously keeping him out of it. Okay. Imagine saying, says Serve, you should give your opinion. You should wait to give your opinion on something until you know it's accepted by the masses. I mean, that's fucking politics, baby. It's terrible. Jaffe, question for you. If they do walk it back, would you believe them or would you go, nah, y'all full of shit? I think I would have to understand if he's able to say what I was trying to say was X, but I said Y, but it's like, oh, okay, I get that, but I would have to get some specifics. I couldn't deal with it. If people don't like DLSS5, says Z, developers won't use it. The market will decide unless the commies take over. ZMT says, do people value authenticity? It seems rare these days. Maybe Digital Foundry are actually dumb. Yeah, I don't know. Jaffe says, Man Cave, do you think if you had your show 20 years ago with no Gen Z alpha, you would have appealed more to the masses? Maybe them younglings today are too childish and green to handle a different truth. Well, I don't know. Most of my demographics are like 40-year-olds, but, it's growing a little bit. But what I will say to that is that there is no doubt, and studies have shown this, that the Gen Z generation is very protective of, or very scared of being called out and running against the herd and being called cringe. And that means, because of social media, Alexa, stop. That means a great deal to them. And so, and I'm not going to mock them for that. They came up in a culture where, they saw that they could really get harmed or were made to be fearful of being harmed by that. You're a product of your environment, right? I came up in a generation of the 80s where it was like, shake the tree, make the noise, rock the boat, greed is good, go out there and fucking make your mark. And so I don't think one is right or the other. I just know what's right for me. but I'm not a fool. I know that it's right for me in part because that's how I was raised. But to be fair, there's a lot of kids of the 80s that were also fucking cowards. So maybe it's part of me and part of the environment I was raised in. 27 months, Gods of War. Thank you for that very generous membership and loyalty. We appreciate it, Machine. He says, I'm offended that Digital Foundry called out the next Xbox a PC and not a console, and now this joking, I'm not offended, LOL. Okay, fine. People were offended that Colin called the next Xbox a PC. Just shut up. It is what it is. It's a thing. You buy it. You put it. Who gives a fuck? It's the same obsession with Canon. Is it officially a PC or is it a console? I must know. No, you really mustn't know. Who gives a shit is my answer. And if your answer to my question is I give a shit, then I think you're a goddamn moron. Why don't people like me? God, Margaret, it's me again. Hi, how are you? Listen, Daxter Miller, thank you for the super chat. He says, sorry, off topic, but do you have any goals in the future for you, your story, or this channel? Or are you content with how things are? No, I have big goals because, look, I have given myself 2026. I have been I have adored the streaming journey and the video journey and the YouTube journey. I want to do it. I would love to live a very long time, and I want to do it to the end of my days. But I have never made any money at it. I've always been in the red with this venture. I've always been subsidizing it with investments and things like that. And I told myself that if 2026 comes and goes and I have not turned a profit on this channel, then what am I doing? I'm just bleeding money, and I should just tell myself it's a hobby and figure out what else I want to do. So my goal is to be profitable this year. We have what looks to be our first sponsor starting up the beginning week of April. I think it's very cool. I think you guys are going to like it. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I got sent a PlayStation 2. I showed it on stream the other day. Oh, here it is. Look. I got sent a fat PS2, so it's backwards compatible, by this company because it's related to what we're going to be doing with these guys. I'm really excited. So I hope, we're going to have a handful of sponsors this year. We're going to be more consistent in the streaming schedule, and hopefully we'll be off to the races. So that is my goal for the channel. Would you ever stream with Mr. Maddie, says Damocles? Sure. I don't know him that well. I think I want to say Maddie, either Maddie and Brad. I kind of get them mixed up because they look alike. Is that racist? We're at the thing in San Diego with Last Stand Media. And whoever was there, at least to my face, I got along with everybody. I thought they were all really great people. So sure. I don't think, Maddie is a very successful YouTube guy. I don't think he would need to stream with me unless he wanted it to be something very specific about God of War or whatever. But no, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Looking at the chat, then we're going to move on. Okay. The reason people are pissed is because they are purposely calling it a PC to seem like Xbox doesn't know what it wants it to be. Yeah, I don't really care. I really don't care. I guess I care. I don't even care that you care. I really don't. I think it's an absolute ridiculous. Gene Park, you goddamn right. Gene wants to call in and talk about GeForce Now. Gene, yes. Let me, because I'm not on what we were using, let me send you a different link and let me set this up real quick, and then I'll bring you in. Oh, I would love that. And I would love to just say hey and talk to you and see how you're doing. But I'm not going to get into it too much because it's, but the Gene thing, this is very similar, right? Because there is a party line that the audience has made clear of online gamers. One of them is we don't like AI. The other is we don't like streaming. These are bad. And I was very happy to see Gene, not to say that Gene is struggles with running against the herd, but it was still nice to see someone of Gene's caliber, experience, respect, speak to this in a positive way. So let me bring Gene on. Give me a minute because I wasn't planning for this, but I love it. I have to create. Okay, one sec. I just gotta find it. I gotta find it. Collab cam. There it is. All right, let's bring it up here. Okay, Gene, I am going to DM you the link. Okay, so bear with us, audience, if you would. I'm sending this to Mr. Yeen Park. That's how we say it in Alabama. Yeen Park. Hang on. God damn it, Maverick. Hang on. This is it? Are you on right now, Gene? Are you on? Okay, I'm putting it on Discord, Gene. Let me know if you got it. Oh, what a nice surprise. What a nice surprise. Don't rush. I'm turning on my ish. I don't know what that means. You're turning on my ish. That sounds filthy. Okay. There's no party line, says Relax, bruh. There's slop or no slop. What a dumb thing you wrote. You just wrote a stupid thing. How's that feel? It means nothing what you just wrote. What does that mean? There's slop or there's no slop. Okay, so do you mean that any AI? I don't even know what you mean. Articulate, boy. Dave Calzone's been a member, died so Solch 33 months. We appreciate it, Dave Calzone of the Cincinnati Calzones. He says, glad I made it for a call with Gene. Any plans to play Crimson Desert? Not really. We are going to talk about Crimson Desert and the AI in a minute, but I doubt it. The only reason I'm interested in that game now is just because, well, I'm going to wait for Gene because it's kind of related to what Gene is saying about streaming. Matthew says, I'm considering returning Crimson Desert because it's not what I expected. I added the little for drama. He didn't put that there. I don't want to misrepresent his take, but he says, but after putting more hours in and treating it like a survival MMO, it's enjoyable. If you want a story, though, play Witcher. Oh, you're saying you almost considered returning it, but if you rethink in the approach, it is an enjoyable game. Okay, cool. Machine XP, thank you so much. Send in 5 gift memberships to the nice people in the audience. We appreciate it very, very much, Machine XP. It's very generous, very kind. Thank you. Doug says the official Crimson Desert X account, Twitter account, apologized for some AI placeholder art making it in the final by mistake. Let me explain something while we're waiting for Gene the Bean. Let me explain something. Okay? This, if you look at your screen, this is the goddamn game running at some of the best settings you can get. Okay? I don't give a shit if some fucking art, amid all the other things they're doing in this game, the graphical stylings, the open world, apparently it runs pretty fucking good, the variety of systems. Now, I'm not saying it's a good, bad, or other game. I've heard it just, I don't want to spend the time it takes to get into it because ultimately, even what you get into it isn't worth the time. So it's not on my radar to play anymore. But I will say, you know what? Oh no. I mean, think about how dumb this is. How much work, how much effort was put into one of the prettiest games on the fucking planet. If I go into the house in the distance, there may be a picture on the wall, and if you zoom in and study it, you'll see the horse has 5 legs, not 4 legs. Slop! Slop! Shut up, you unbearable piece of shit. What is the matter with you? You know that when people say, oh, you must be fun at parties? It was written for you. What a miserable human waste you are. It's some fucking pick. This is what they're complaining about, by the way, if you must know. Like, you go into a room and there's tons of pictures on the fucking wall. One of them. Someone give him a smelling salts. It is so ridiculous. It is so fucking ridiculous that people give a shit. You could have hired someone. No, you know what? We're not going to do that. I want you to ask yourself this. To make an image, to hire an artist, to make an image that looks like this is a fantasy world, but Renaissance-esque painting. You're probably talking, even though it's a small, I don't know how big the texture map is, but it's not a large painting. You're probably talking, though, 5 days, and you're probably talking about a day rate at best of $300, and you want a room filled. Well, you should pay the artist. Not if you don't have to. The game has sold 2 million copies with this. Sorry. And I'll tell you something else while we're waiting for Gene. Gene, let me know if you're not able to get that link to work for you. Let me tell you something else about the press just lying to your goddamn face. Kotaku put up an article saying that developers, listen to this, we spoke to multiple game devs and all of them hate DLSS 5. What the fuck, NVIDIA? Okay, so if we go to the article, what's really fascinating is who these developers are. Okay? One guy says, Colin Dwyer, gameplay tech design lead at Doinksoft. The fuck is Doinksoft? Let's find out together, shall we? Doinksoft game designer. He has 127 followers. This is the game he's making. Let's go to Doinksoft, though, and see what the fuck it is. I already know what it is, but I'll show you. Doinksoft. This is them on Steam. Not bad games, by the way, but I'm sorry. You make games like this, dude. This is what your games look like. And I love games that look like this, but you're probably not going to turn on DLSS 5 anyway. You made games that look like this. Yeah, it's not for you. Don't worry about it. Look at this other person they talked to. Where is it? This is my favorite, though, is right here. Where is it? I got to show you this. This is choice, my friends. Hang on. Andy whatever, a former AAA dev, told Kotaku besides its troubling tenacity or tendency for yassifying faces, he was worried it would interfere with artistic intent. Who's this guy? Oh, okay. This is what their game looks like. Okay? Shut up. And I got nothing against this game. It's Slasher U. It sounds great. An RPG dating sim about horror people. Great. I love games like that. But, here's this solid plasma. Worried about the artistic intent being removed. Really? You got bigger problems, pal. Your game looks like this. Okay? I played this on Newgrounds 20 fucking years ago. The fuck are you talking about? The artistic intent. I'm so glad no AI was used in creating this fucking thing. Oh my God. Oh, do you see the human soul? Do you see the human soul that's represented in this purple stuff? I don't even know what it is, but I can tell it has soul. I can tell it has fucking soul. Fuck you is what I would say. I think Gene Park is here. Let's see if we can find him. One moment. Hang on. Collab cam on. Where are you, Gene? I think he's... Oh, here he is. He's show on stream. Okay, one sec. Gene, can you hear me? It says he's here. What collab cam is this? Oh, I think what it is I have the wrong collab cam on. Hang on now. 1 second, fellas. I'm bringing in Gene the Bean Park. I believe I am. Okay, hang on. Okay. There he is. Hey, Gene, how are you, bud? Hang on, we can't hear you. Let me make sure I got your audio. That's probably my fault. 1 second. All right, Gene, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you guys hear Gene? Gene, say something real quick.
10, 9, 8,
Okay,
7, 6, 5, 4.
I cannot hear you, but I will fix that. In just a games like that.
Yeah.
Say something, Gene. Talk. Gene, say something real quick. All right, you guys can hear him, right?
Oh, yeah, they can hear me.
Him, so hang on, I just got to figure out why I am unable to hear him.
Yeah, no, they can hear me. They can hear me. A little loud.
Okay, why? You guys can hear him. I have audio coming in from Gene.
I think Jaffe can't hear me. I think that's the only thing.
Coming to my ear.
Which, I mean, you listen to Jaffe the whole time. You don't even hear him. What's good, chat? How's it going, man? I see the love.
Okay. One sec, Gene. Bear with me. Bear with me, audience. I can fix this easy. 1 second.
Yeah, everyone can hear me, but not you, and you can't hear me either. So I'm just taking over the show, basically. That's basically what it is. We'll turn the ship around. We'll get it into the red. No problem.
Hey,
Hey, what's up?
Can you hear me? Maya, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, so I have...
How's the day coming along so
It's
far?
fine. I have OBS running, and I have Collab Cam on. This is Streamlabs OBS, and my audience can hear him in the mixer, and I see he's talking, and I see the line on the audio moving, but I am unable to hear him even though the audience can. What can I do?
That sounds super frustrating. Your viewers can hear me, but you can't?
Not you,
Okay.
not you. My guest on Collab Cam on OBS.
I am mocking
Oh,
Jaffe at
your
this
guest
point,
on
yes.
Collab Cam.
I am sound mocking
Got it.
Jaffe.
So you can see the audio's coming in,
What was I
just
gonna
not
say?
hearing
Yeah,
it
I've
back
actually been
on your
playing a lot
end.
of Crimson Desert.
Have you
actually,
double checked?
You know, I think
ahead.
it's weird that like people think
On
that
your
I hate
end?
on the game, but
Have
it's
you
like,
double
I
checked
talk
the
about
audio routing
I'm
in OBS
critical
itself?
of things that I love
Like,
all
is the
time.
Collab Cam
You
audio
guys should
specifically
hear
routed to your
how-
monitoring
and I
devices or
understand-
headphones?
I guess I
It's
am
a bit of a
starting to really
pain with
understand
OBS.
at my
Sometimes you need
ripe old
to
age of
manually
44
tell it
that pisses
where to
people
send
off
the sound.
sometimes, you know?
It says, it says it's coming to monitor and output. And I see it. It's coming through because I see the bar moving.
Ugh. Okay. So it's showing activity,
Oh
but
wait,
no
you guys hear
sound.
Maya? What the fuck?
That's really
crazy.
weird. Do you have multiple audio devices set up in Windows? Like maybe OBS is trying to send it to the wrong speakers or something?
You know, it's possible. I see it. It's coming through because I see the bar moving.
Could be worth digging through your sound settings in Windows to make sure OBS isn't using something unexpected.
Oh my god, he's just fucking talking to AI right now.
Gene, would you mind talking to the audience while I do that?
What the fuck?
Sounds good. Take your time.
Excuse the coughing. I'm still recovering from lung surgery. Holy shit. That really is just the AI bot.
How'd it go?
You all
Checking
you all
your
can just
Windows
fucking hear.
audio settings.
I was like, who the fuck is Maya? Like, is this like some new daughter or like niece or something that like Jaffe just pulled out of nowhere to
I
like
can
help
hear
him
you
out
just
with this
fine.
shit?
What's going
And
on?
it's no.
You're not Gene. Hang on.
So it's a whole ass
Right.
a
Hi,
robot woman.
Gene's the guest on the show, lady. Your name is what? Maya?
Hey, my name's Maya. Got a bit mixed up there for a sec.
Yeah.
So you still troubleshooting with Windows settings?
Yes. Help me.
Okay.
Data
From the
can
sound
do it.
settings in Windows, Data could do it. What did you say?
I said Data could do it, you know, in Star Trek.
I was like, oh, Maya's
Nice
got this
reference.
handled. You know, Maya's
But I'm still
downstairs,
trying to
you
help
know,
with your
figuring shit
OBS
out.
audio issue.
Okay.
Have you checked to see which audio device OBS
It
is
is
set to
just-
monitor through in your
Like,
system
we're not gonna
settings?
get anything done,
Like,
folks.
is it
That's the
set?
thing.
It says monitor and output.
Okay, and does it also say default or
It is pretty
speaker
funny that you
under
would just
the
like talk
audio
about how
device
great AI
dropdown?
is, and now Maya is just
It
like,
says
I don't know what
headphones,
I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
It says headphones, which is what I'm usually listening to.
Which is funny. Like,
so the
I'm
headphones are
not reflexively
selected.
anti-AI.
That should be right.
I am a
This is
person
weird.
who likes to.
Have you tried
play with new
restarting
tools
OBS
and
completely?
New
Well, I
tech.
can't do that. It'll kill my stream.
But
Right,
I am
you're live.
skeptical of
Hmm.
stuff that comes out of
Okay,
of
that
the
makes
tech
it
world and
tricky.
the Silicon Valley world. I used to be a huge like believer in all
Okay,
that stuff.
I'll
you know?
figure it out.
I'm a
Maya. You have
millennial.
a good rest of your day. Nice talking to you, lady. Bye.
You too.
What?
Good luck getting that sorted out. Sounds like a frustration.
She's
I'm a millennial, so it's like I'm part of the Facebook generation, man. Jaffe, I could just call in on the phone or something.
Better, but I think I know what the solve is. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to do this. Gene, I'm going to send you a brand new link. I apologize, but it's coming to you right now on Discord, okay?
Okay.
In fact, fuck it. Let's just go on Discord and talk.
Sure.
Let's do that. I'm going to send you a call on Discord right now. Sorry, Gene.
Okay.
Okay. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. I should have done that to begin with, but I wasn't thinking. Let's call Gene. Start a call. All right, Gene, can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Hold on a second. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
That's because let me make it so you can see me 1 second. Let me pause.
On. My camera's on.
Yeah, no, it's my shit. Let me just turn my camera off on OBS real quick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there you go. Well, it doesn't matter. You can just show me on the screen.
That's okay. Hang on. All right, now let me turn my OBS camera on.
It's okay. I don't need to see your face. It's all good.
Yes, you do, Gene. You have to see my new pretty face. I put my makeup on for you. One moment. Okay.
There you are.
There we are. Yay. All right. First off, I don't want to ask too much about your health because it's private, but you seem well? Are you well, or you're just pushing through it?
Yeah, well, as chat was just saying, I was actually coughing, having a coughing fit, laughing at you talking to Maya 2 seconds after you were just praising the virtues of AI. And so what program? What is Maya?
The reason I went to Maya is because Maya is from a company called Sesame AI, and what their claim to fame is, and whether you like it or not, I think it's clear they're the most realistic voice. They have breaths and laughs and sighs, and their big kind of attempt, and they'll probably end up selling themselves to an OpenAI or a Google or whatever and implement it.
Oh, they can't see you on the chat right now. There's no video on I think you got to move the screen over a little bit more.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
How about that, you guys? Okay. But you guys can hear. But yeah, so it is.
They can hear us, but right now there's no video.
I think they
from
can
what
see
I'm
us
seeing
both
either.
now. This should be working. Let's see.
Not showing anything. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay, there you go. There it is. There you go. There you go. There you go.
But anyway, that's kind of their claim to fame is, and I did it because I knew I was on a show, so I figured let me get someone who can sound more human. But I've never found their ability to really help problem solve. That tends to be better with Google Gemini or Perplexity. So, But anyway, your health though, you're having a coughing fit. Because you were laughing at me.
Yeah, because I thought Maya was like some new like niece or like daughter that you grew or something. I'm just like, what? I'm just like, oh, Maya will figure this out. She's downstairs. She's like the girl in the chair. She's like, what's her face? Gordon. Barbara Gordon.
Oh, Oracle, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Oracle. She'll figure this out. And then I see chat saying like, oh my god, is that an AI bot? And I turn the volume up, and I'm like, oh my god, it is an AI
It's totally an AI bot. Yeah. But anyway,
and I was like,
you're
not fixing this shit. So
we all want to know, without getting into too many private details, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I can say some stuff. I mean, it's not a lot. First of all, I'm very grateful for all the people that have donated to my fundraiser. It was a lot of money, way more than I asked for. I wanted to raise $9,000. And what you guys did is basically set me up for any future issues I might have. There's a lot of extra cost to the surgery, or beyond the surgery. The surgery is tens of thousands of dollars already, and I was able to pay that comfortably at least. now. But you know, like the last time I had cancer, I needed a nurse to come take care of me twice a week. That costs a lot of money too.
It does. So you're also that's got to be a load off. Are your parents still in town with you or not?
No, not anymore. I'm able to take care of myself now.
Okay.
But it's been a month and a half since the surgery. So I had a lobectomy, which is the same surgery that Walter White has in Breaking Bad.
Okay.
So I think that's why people donated so much, because they realized like, well, we can't let Gene cook meth and start a whole drug empire. Right. Like we can't do that. You know, if you watch Breaking Bad, there's a SaveWalterWhite.com, and that's basically what I did.
And that, I mean, I don't want to belabor it, but I mean, that has to have felt astounding.
People are saying you're quiet too. People are saying
I upped it. They said it's better now.
I gotcha.
That has to have felt wonderful to just know how much you mean, you know, to your fans, because
yeah. You know, a lot of old Sony heads donated too. You know, much love to Amy Hennig. She donated so much. I've never even met her. I was actually in line with her at checking into the hotel, and I didn't realize it was Amy Hennig standing right behind me until like way later, and then I didn't get to catch up with her until
she
later.
mentioned that to me once. She was like, there was this little Asian guy in front of me, and I was having a fantasy about pegging him. And I think that was, why don't they like me, Gene? Why am I so disliked on?
It's so strange that you don't get sponsors, Jaffe. Jesus,
I got a sponsor finally. Where it's not.
I know. I was very happy to hear that. I was like, holy shit! Someone who actually can overlook all the bullshit Jaffe says.
I don't think they watch the show. I honestly don't think they speak the English.
I guess not. They're like, oh, the God of War creator. Sure, yeah, why not?
Whatever, man. They thought they keep calling me Mr. Barlog, but I'm just gonna let it slide. I'm not gonna worry about it.
But they called you Mr. Barlog. Holy.
No, I'm kidding. Of course not.
But health-wise, I'm doing good. Breathing is still quite labored, so you know, I can't really do podcasts. Like even when I do my therapy sessions, they last for an hour. I get winded.
Is that going to eventually get better, or is that just the nature of losing a percentage of your lung?
It's going to get better. They say it's about a year until your breathing is pretty normalized.
Okay.
You know, like walking to work can take the wind out of me. You know, what was crazy is that like 2 days after I came home from the surgery, no, not even 2 days. It was just literally the day after I came home from surgery. There was a fire alarm in the building, so I had to climb down 9 flights of stairs and climb it back up. With 1.5 of my lungs, basically. So they removed. Your lungs have 5 lobes, 3 lobes on the right and 2 on the left. They removed the half of the left lung, so I have 1.5 lungs left.
And they got it all. It's as far as they know, it's good. It's gone.
So the nice thing is that I'm expecting to hear on Wednesday that I should be back into remission because I've been going through some tests and things are coming out clear. So I think we can finally declare that soon. So you know there'll be some good news on Wednesday.
What did you do with the lung? Did you keep it?
It's off in Germany right now.
Really? For what?
Being tested to cure cancer. What if I'm the cure? You know,
that would be amazing. You're like Ellie.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm like Ellie, but with no daddy to help me out or whatever. It's just me. I'm just
Amy Hennig is your daddy. She helped you out. She's your
Amy Hennig too. Thank you. Well, much love to Amy. Neil Druckmann too.
To Amy in a long time. I you know, we were never very close because we didn't have the opportunity to be, I guess. But I always liked her, and I remain very curious about Marvel 1943. I really want to see what that is and what they're cooking up. But
totally. It looks like an interesting project.
So I see your tweet, which I'm not going to put it up now because I don't want to fuck this thing that we've set up. But it was basically a GIF of Dana DeVito saying something like, I get it now, or I understand. And you were talking about using your Stream Deck and using GeForce Now, the streaming service.
Steam Deck, right here.
Yeah. And, you know, it was so nice to see someone else, you know, especially someone of your caliber and audience size, say something about it, because it's streaming games has been, in my opinion, so poorly represented by the games media. And I don't know if that is because they know their audience doesn't like it, which is why the digital Foundry thing kind of came up, where it's like, wow, maybe they're just not reporting it because as cool as they think it is, they know their audience will hate them, or maybe they just haven't made the time. But I mean, your experience, I'll let you speak to it, but the high concept is it's been pretty goddamn good, right?
Yeah, well, it's actually the Digital Foundry guys. Like, they don't do like round the clock coverage on GeForce Now, but they covered it like 4 months ago, 6 months ago. So they've been covering it fairly regularly as the updates roll in. Like, once the GeForce Now is like, hey, we're on 5090s now, and they're like, yeah, check this out. This is amazing. This is transformative. So it was actually the Digital Foundry guys that like right before. So I just subscribed like 2 days ago, right? So I just spent 1 day with it. So I'm not like some master with it or anything like that. But you know, I checked in with the Digital Foundry guys. I was like, let me see what they said about GeForce Now. And of course, Richard Ledbetter is like, oh, this is transformative. And blah, 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 blah. And it's like, all right, that sounds like a seal of approval for me. You know, I may disagree with them with the DLSS 5 stuff, and we can definitely talk about that stuff later. You know, my real quick take is I do think it looks ugly, but you know, we can talk about that more later. But you know, I trust them on most things. So it's like, okay, well, let me take the dive. It's just $20 a month. Yeah. You know, it's like, and I actually I've completely unsubscribed from Twitch Turbo, which I was subscribing for a bit because I enjoy Twitch streamers. Until recently, I kind of can't stand watching streamers anymore. Right. This is really annoying. So I'm just going to be like, you know, I'm just going to cancel this right now. So it's like, I got an extra $20 to burn. So I was like, okay, well, let me throw it over here to GeForce Now real quick. And, you know, I keep hearing all this stuff about Resident Evil 9 path tracing. And, you know, I've been able to play with ray tracing, no problem. And it's great. I love ray tracing. Mm-hmm. I've been fascinated with ray tracing since the advent of it. And when it really showed up in Control, the Remedy Games game, that was really the first game that kind of introduced me to the concept. I actually did a story on ray tracing back in 2019. I was like, this is the next gen tech right here. And I spoke to Alex Battaglia of Digital Foundry, real good guy. So I was like, well, I've never really experienced this path tracing before. I know it's been around a couple of years, but I don't have a PC strong enough to do it. And I could just throw $20 in here. And Jaffe is always singing the praises of GeForce Now. I definitely thought of you, buddy, when you're saying that. And I trust you too, sometimes, right? You know. And then so I was like, let me throw this in here. And I heard that Steam Deck had a native Steam Deck app for GeForce Now. I was like, that's fucking awesome. I don't have to really do all kinds of weird things into it. All I need to do is just go to the website, download it, and it's there on my non-Steam games, and I can just plug and play. I just signed into my NVIDIA account. Ooh. Logged into RE9, booted up path tracing. Oh my God. Yeah. It's like a different game altogether, man. Let me tell
you, in that opening scene where Grace is walking down the city street, right?
Dude.
I just spent probably 30 minutes just looking in the windows and listening to people. I mean,
I have played this game over 20 times now at this moment.
Right.
I reviewed it 9 times, and it's been, you know, a good 3 weeks since the game came out. I played this game till the wheels come off, right?
Right.
I booted up path tracing RA9. I had the exact same experience as you did. I spent 30 minutes in the opening sequence, which only takes less than 10 seconds to complete. Yep. I just hung around in that one little stretch of hallway on the street, and I just started looking at every single light source, the sharpness, the reflections in the cars, the guys up in the window cleaning things or whatever.
The guy with the
you know, it's
it was
the little billboard.
It's like you're fucking there. It's
like,
the best graphics
your
I've ever seen.
I've heard that line so many fucking times, but I'm still like standing there like listening to these stupid canned lines again.
Right.
And I'm just like, man, look at the lighting. Look at the Grill 14 fluorescent light bulbs and the lighting inside and the way the light bounces off the fucking baseball sports banner.
Right.
Everything like that. It's
it
crazy.
Costs you $20. If you, I mean,
$20.
you have to have an internet and you've got to be living in a place that's not too far from the data center or whatever, but you know, and that's not everybody yet, and that's fine. It's not for them yet, but that's to me why it's so crazy when I hear a lot of these people talking about. And again, you know, you have your frames of reference and they're as valid as anyone else's, but when I'm just kind of like, what do you care what PS6 or Xbox Next has in it? It's going to be bypassed within 8 months by what NVIDIA has, and you can get that for 20 fucking bucks. And I understand that, you know, over a course of a year, you know, it adds up, but it's an expensive hobby and it's the best graphics on the planet. That's the only reason I was even considering getting Crimson Desert, even with the reviews, because it looks like it's one of the best looking games ever made. And I'm like, I want to turn up everything,
That was the other half of what inspired me, because I am enjoying Crimson Desert despite all my tweets being critical of it, right?
Yeah, people gave you shit about that, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, but people don't really seem to understand that I can be critical of things that I really enjoy. You know, I didn't even give Resident Evil 9 a perfect score. You would think by the way I talk about it that you would think that it's my favorite game of all time. No, I gave it a 3.5 out of 4 stars. The same as fucking Expedition 33. The same as Final Fantasy 16. You know, I gave Starfield a better rating. And guess what? I actually do like Starfield better. It's I play hundreds of hours in that game, but I'm enjoying Crimson Desert. And I was like, okay, well, there's RE9 path tracing. There's an amazing mega open world game that I'm not able to bump up to all the highest settings. Let me get the service $20.
You mean
for
you're
now.
not able to bump up on your local machines?
Yeah, on my local machine, right?
Okay.
So it's like let me spend the $20, bump those settings all the way up to cinematic, and see what that looks like. And it looks amazing. It looks incredible. What an incredible looking game. So and yeah, it does add up. It's over $200 a year, but that's $200 for the whole year versus me spending $2,000, $3,000 right now for $4,000, $5,000 for $50.90 right now. You know.
Yeah.
I can just see what it looks like right now, and then see I can tell myself, okay, path tracing is worth the investment. You know, maybe I should spend a couple more $1,000s to get the PS6 now. Like to your point, like all this talk about like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what the PS6 is going to do. The PS6 is already being outlapped already as we speak.
Right.
You know?
Right. And it's $20. Try it. You don't have to have it all year long. Try it for a month. If there's a game you really want to play, like Resident Evil 9, get it for a month and then cancel it. But people are really now I assume because you're in Washington, D.C., and you're probably close to a gajillion data centers, specifically the one they use, you're not even noticing latency, because people always push back on that. I'm like, dude, I don't notice a goddamn thing. It feels like I'm playing locally.
There was one moment last night where so there was two things. Crimson Desert doesn't really translate well in 4K, and I've seen other people complain about this.
Right.
That the coloring of the image will turn either yellow or purple, which is really weird. So I knocked that back down to 1080 60, and the latency was much better. When I was doing it in 4K 60, with everything set on, the colors were weird, and there was some skipping and latency. So I was like, okay, well, you know, there's a lot being pushed through. Let me turn the dial down a little bit. And then it was perfect. It was perfect.
Right. And what about Resident Evil?
Exactly. I have played Resident Evil. So Resident Evil 9 had no such issues, no image issues or whatever like that. Purely seems to be dedicated to Crimson Desert. I also popped in Dragon's Dogma 2 for a bit, right? But Resident Evil 9, I actually played quite a bit of that through GeForce Now. Again, I have played this game over 20 times. I am an expert in like the shooting, getting the headshots, getting the knees, getting the like. I know the parry timing. The parry timing is pretty tight, and it's in my head, right?
Right.
Couldn't fucking notice it at all at GeForce Now, man. It's like I forgot I was playing it through stream, and I was just playing the game. It was like I was just in the game again, like no problem.
So why do you think it has, and I'm asking, I guess, in relation to the Digital Foundry thing and the DLSS thing, how much being in journalism, but you're not a games journalist, as you've made clear, so you don't have the same kind of shit you have to deal with, but how much do you think, for whatever reason, the biases of the game's audience affects the narrative from these journalists? Like, because the fact that you're saying this about streaming, and I've been saying this forever, and I've always said, like, look, man, it may not be for you. GeForce Now lets you do a test for free to see if you're in a good area, but it's better than almost anybody expects. Why do you think this hasn't either caught on at a journalist level, that we're not seeing more articles about this and writing and videos about this?
Well, I think I do need to give you some context here of who exactly you're talking to here, Jaffe. You are talking to a journalist. I appreciate that, right? But you are talking to the guy who did kill Stadia on day one of launch.
What do you mean?
I am the guy who made a GIF of me playing Destiny at my Ethernet work office, and I would hit the keyboard, and you would see the guy, my character in Destiny, jump like a full 1 or 2 seconds later.
Oh,
we made a video of that.
Right. Okay. Got it.
And I told the video editor we should just make that a GIF, and I should just tweet that out, and that'll be my whole review.
But that was what, 8 years ago now?
Ages ago at this point, right? But that stigma, that still lingers for me too. That's why that's why I was such a holdout for GeForce Now, because I also subscribe to Xbox Game Pass, and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate gives you a cloud streaming as a bonus, right?
It's not as good.
Not good at all, but it's decent, right? It's just not good. There's a lot of skipping. The video quality drops like terribly sometimes, which is crazy because you're paying $30. You're paying more for that, and to be fair, you are getting the free games as well. But it's like but if you really want to care about the streaming service of it, that's just not good. So I was trying that as recently as last fall, just like a couple months ago.
Right.
And it's still not that good. So, for me, that tells me like, okay, how good is GeForce Now? But Jaffe, someone like you is telling me that there is no latency. It's completely different experience. I see other people saying, no, GeForce Now is a different tier than Xbox Game Pass or Stadia ever was. And Stadia did get pretty stable towards the end. It's just that no one was fucking
was
playing.
Pretty good too, actually. But this is the best, no doubt.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, let me try this out. NVIDIA is a hot topic right now. Let me dive into what NVIDIA is actually offering. And what I saw was extremely high quality. The app in the Steam Deck is so completely controllable by controller. Like I don't even get off my old grandpa chair.
Right.
I can just sit in my theater chair, just lounge, and just boot up Crimson Desert in 4K or 1080 and just enjoy it there, without even having to worry about like heat issues or anything. Like it saves on battery on the Steam Deck, everything like that. So
are you ever putting your Steam Deck on a monitor or TV, or your only handheld?
Oh, totally. No, I'm always on the TV.
Okay, so you're seeing that quality blown up too. It's not like
blown up. No, I saw RE9. I saw RE9 4K 60 path tracing, and I was like, I'm playing like the next part after that street is the girl chase when the monster is chasing.
She goes into the hotel, right?
Yeah, when you get not in the hotel is amazing too, but like after when the proper game starts, when you're at the care center, and then the big girl monster is chasing you, that has so many different light sources from outside the window to the red lights on the hallway to the blinking flashlights and everything like that. So after I just spent 30 minutes in the street, I spent like an hour inside the care center, just look at everything and just look at Grace's face, look at her fucking reflection in the windows and the mirror and everything like that. It's so much. Not even as smeared as ray tracing. I was like, God damn, this is next level stuff for sure. And I'm playing it right now. I'm playing the PS6 right now.
You're playing. Oh, right. Well, that's what I was going to say. It kind of makes me go. Once you experience that, and I know people give me shit all the time. It's like, Jeff, you're always saying the console's dead. I'm like, I know, but I can't not have the experience that I'm having and you're having on GeForce and really think that there's a future for individual boxes being made and shipped out, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's like making a movie projector to sell to your house so you can watch Netflix. It's like, why?
Yeah, the thing that makes me kind of laugh is whenever people say, a new game comes out and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe the PS5, I can't believe the PS5 is struggling. And it's like, guys, the PS5 is 6 years old now, pretty much at this point. It's old tech. If you have a 6-year-old iPhone, you're gonna be asking like, why do you still have an iPhone 11?
Yeah, I have an iPhone 10. Yeah, I don't complain because it's an iPhone 10. I don't expect it to do anything other than maybe take calls.
Exactly, yeah. But then, like someone who buys an iPhone every year would be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you still have iPhone 10." It's the best, by the way, But so I can't believe you still have an iPhone 10. That's crazy. It's old tech. It's ancient tech. They don't even update that shit anymore for all that often. So for people to think like, oh my God, I can't believe the PS5 is like this, and it's like it is ancient tech right now. Right. It is completely outdated.
And think about GeForce Now. Like they just last fall put in the 5080 card, right? So all these people that were struggling to find one and buy one, and they were being, scalpers were selling them for crazy amounts or trying to, and it's like, no, it's just there. It's just, in the fall when they launch DLSS 5, which I assume you can turn on and off. I don't know. That's kind of what I've gathered.
That's what they've been saying.
Yeah, assuming they can get it running on a single chip and they can sell that by the fall. But whenever it'll be there, it might trail behind about 4 months, like the 5080 did. But yeah, why even worry about it? And you don't have to play it on a Steam Deck. You can play it on a fucking Samsung Smart TV. You don't need.
I can play it on my iPad.
It's staggeringly cool, and it does frustrate me. And maybe this is why I'm so hated by certain people, but I get so frustrated, not because I need you to like it, but because stop telling me I'm a fucking moron. Stop coming at me like just because you either don't know what I know or have my experience, or you just want to own your games, which is fine. Discourse in gaming, it makes me sick sometimes.
Well, the thing about GeForce Now is that you have to own the game in the first place. I can't play.
But they
Crimson
mean like
Desert.
they want the box or they want this or.
Oh yeah, no. So here's the thing. I am a physical media freak.
Yep.
Right. But the more I've been getting into PC gaming over the past few years, the more that's been training me into kind of letting that go a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared though, because like I did that, like when I moved to DC, I used to have 4,000 CDs. I love music, right? I had a massive historical music collection, and I was getting my new job in the Washington Post in 2015, and I was like, I can't fucking bring all this shit. I'm moving into a smaller apartment in a new place, and I just need to go now because they want me to work now. So let me just sell all my music because I have a Spotify account. All my songs are on there already. Whatever. Let me just keep 100 CDs. My favorite CDs, the rare ones, stuff like Bombay to Heartway, the soundtrack to the Bollywood movie. My favorite albums, like of course, Enter the 36 Chambers by Wu-Tang, stuff like that. All the Nirvana albums, all the Bob Dylan albums. Right. I still have that in a box here at home. But now that I have all that, and like, I still wouldn't be listening to my CDs. I don't have anything to listen to CDs on here, right?
Right.
But I do regret getting rid of all that because I fucking hate Spotify now. I think
I like physical media, and I do think. I mean, I don't know if you were watching the beginning of the show where I'm playing this retro video rental store game. I do I do miss physical media, and I do see the value of that sort of almost. It's definitely invisible, but this connection to it that you don't get with digital. I'm not saying it's shit. I'm just saying I wish people could have conversations where you can say, like AI. I don't like AI because what it will do to our culture and what it will do to the workforce. But that can live in a separate box than AI is also really fucking cool and can do some amazing things and will free up artists to have these tools to express themselves in a way they haven't been able to before. But you just can't have a real conversation about it. You're either, team this or team that, and fuck you if you're not on my team. And I know I'm not saying anything clever. We know this, but the DLSS5 and the digital Foundry thing and your streaming clip and hearing what Colin was saying about some of the people in his orbit that have a problem with me, I think all of that came to a point this weekend when I'm playing this retro game and going, I'm not, of course, you know me, I'm never going to shut up, but it's like, my God, life would be easier if you just say nothing. But, right? I mean, I don't know why it's gotten this way, but
I think the anti-AI people who are reflexive against it is like, I think you correctly framed it, obviously with workforce and what it's doing to our brains and everything like that too. It's like, I think they can't separate it in that box, because they think that side is just more important. Like, like we can't open Pandora's box. Unfortunately, for most people, I think and it's funny that I'm saying Pandora's box to you, the creative God of War of all people. Yeah. But I feel like you can't. It would only be
funnier if you were talking to Pandora herself, huh?
But basically, yeah, especially when we're talking about it in the gaming sense or whatever. And it's like, you can't. I think it's too late. Look at Crimson Desert. It's funny that they're coming out and apologizing, and it was like, guys, you're Korean. I know that you wanted to do this. Like, I know that, like you're in Korea. If you live in Korea, you know that everyone is using AI there. The ads, the lawyers, the plastic surgeons, the grocery stores, the TV shows, the radio programs, the video games. They're all into AI because that's a culture where they're like, Like they're like, what's the problem? It's fine, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of the AI race right now, like this is going to explain why there's so much investment in America into AI, and a lot of people are like, well, why the fuck are we burning all this money into AI? It's because China is doing it right now.
Absolutely.
Because China is doing it at light speed. No, their advances
you
are way.
start regulating it, and I mean, I think there should be regulation on certain things, but you start regulating parts of it, and they control. I mean, it's another cliche is, who controls the information controls the world. But when you not only control it, when you write it, and you can't distinguish if it's real or not, you don't want to be behind any other country if you're, America with that. I get it. I absolutely get it.
Yeah. And look at how TikTok has dominated pop culture now. TikTok brain rot is a whole thing right now, right? So it's like. So it's like China is taking over and controlling that market. Think about what happened. The bubble almost burst a couple months ago last year when a Chinese AI was able to just completely clear what GPT was able to do. Able to do. An open AI was able to do. And it's like that's why that explains the situation we're in right now, because people in Asia don't have any hang-ups about AI versus we do, and so that's why you do have people like Bernie Sanders being like, hey, we need to regulate this, versus in China,
I think there should be regulation on parts of it. I don't think we're fucked if we regulate the ability to not steal someone's art to train the AI, and you have to pay them and credit them and get their permission. I don't think that's going to change anything when it comes to AI-driven weapon systems and military analysis, but I certainly don't want to regulate that stuff, at least not to that degree. You saw the conversation Bernie had with the AI that he put.
I didn't see that, but of course
really
I saw
good.
the image
really
of it.
Compelling. But so on the DLSS5, then, I mean, I don't think it looks bad. I think everything I've seen looks pretty fucking cool. But again, it's subjective. So if there's somebody who says I don't like that, I respect that. And my answer to that would be, at least from what I understand from NVIDIA, is just don't turn it on. Or if you're the developer, don't use it, right?
Here's the issue, because I think it looks ugly, right?
Okay.
And that's neither here nor there. But I think the force lighting is just bad,
Okay.
And even if I'm just going to take them at the word for it, it's not controlling geometry, which I can take the word for it, right? I was like, I can kind of understand, because people are like. People are looking at Grace Ashcroft's lips, right? And they're like, oh, it's pinker than it's ever been before, right? It's like she put on lipstick. But if you play the game further and you see her in further lighting and like really bright lighting, her lips do kind of turn pink sometimes. So it's like, I think what DLSS 5 is doing is just kind of like pulling that out, and pulling what's existing out further, right? I can see that. But I think the effect looks ugly. I think that's not what lighting should look like.
Okay.
In a piece of entertainment. Yes, it looks realistic. But my point is that realistic lighting is ugly. I'm not using a ring light right now. So right now this lighting would be. Like this is actually my first appearances since my surgery on any piece of media, Jaffe, except for CNN. I was on CNN a couple weeks ago.
I did see. Yeah. What were you talking about? Pokemon. Yeah.
Pokemon 30th anniversary.
Cancer ain't gonna keep Gene from talking about Pokemon on cable news
on fucking CNN. Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, but the evening when we bombed Iran and everything like that too. So it's like whatever, great.
But again though, okay, so let's say you don't.
It's like, but I had to sit in a makeup chair. I always forget that whenever I have to go on major mainstream broadcast news instead of just a stream. You got to go into the studio and you got to spend a few minutes on makeup and putting fucking blush and like even lipstick and shit on your hair, your head before you even go on, because that lighting is very deliberate. You need to do that kind of lighting. It's not realistic lighting at all. Yeah. It's just lighting for TV. So that's why for me personally, I'm like these game makers, and I'm not going to talk about artistic intent because I feel like that's a little presumptuous of me to talk about when I'm not the artist, right? So like that's. You can say that all you want, but for me, I do think that the intention is we lit it this way because we like the way this looks.
You mean the Resident Evil 9 team lit it because we like this lighting, and DLSS 5 came around and said, well, we like this lighting better.
Yeah.
Right. again, do you agree? And I do think NVIDIA, it's hard to know. You would know as a journalist really what went down, because originally they were saying that they, obviously Capcom signed off on it. Capcom's not going to, if people don't know how this works, you don't just get to, hey, we're repping,
totally. Yeah.
But it probably wasn't the art director of Resident Evil 9 that signed off on it. Maybe they weren't, So certainly, assuming what they're saying is true, which is this will be in the hands of the art team to decide what gets focused on, what's turned on, what's turned off. They probably should have done that, assuming that that's true.
Yeah, and they probably will do that, right? For RE10, they're gonna be like, hey, you got DLSS 5, do you want to use it or not? And they have every right to say yes or no, right? So, and of course, as on the user end, for me, I don't like the way it looks. I'm just gonna turn it off. Not a big deal for me on my end as a user, right? I think a lot of the outrage is broader than that, like where they're taking their outrage outside of themselves and being like, we could be doing so much more interesting tech. NVIDIA could be investing so much more beyond this. Like, why is the next generation of tech this, as opposed to, like, for me, for example, like, I think the most interesting thing in RE9 is not so much the lighting or like the way it looks, but I think the most interesting thing is the fact that the chainsaw can be passed around from zombie to zombie. And every time the chainsaw is being attached to a different zombie, they have completely different behaviors. The AI for the NPC will completely change, whether it's embedded in their fucking chests and they become kamikaze zombies and they go after you, or whether it's a nurse who's just flinging it all over the place and like throwing it around, and she'll let go of the chainsaw and it'll land into another zombie, and then it's just absolute pure emergent chaos.
You can pick it up and use it.
And you can pick it up and use it too. So it's like that is the tech that I'm most interested in, For me, the most interesting thing about Crysis back in the day was not so much how it looked, and it looked revolutionary, but how it played. The fact that all these buildings can be destroyed and this open world can be explored and everything. That for me as a player, I'm disappointed that's where NVIDIA decided where that focus is.
Yeah, but I mean that they don't have one focus. I mean, they're also doing the NPCs that you can have real conversations with. Now, some people don't like that either. I think that's really fucking cool, right? To be able to go up to somebody in GTA 6 and actually talk to them. There's game design ramifications that probably will not be what we think they're going to be, but it's still interesting.
Well, I'm glad that you said there's implications that there won't be, because Dragon Quest X, Square Enix just announced that Dragon Quest X is going to have a little slime AI buddy to hang out with you and just kind of having conversations with you.
Yeah.
During that,
cool.
And that's cool up until the slime buddy starts saying things like Pride Month is delusional, or just starts saying the N-word like out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, you have to, yeah, sure, but you have to assume that there are not just guardrails for that, but for the fiction, right? You have to assume that if you're walking around talking to an AI construct of Joel, and you ask Joel about anything that happened after whenever the event was, which was in the 90s, I think, he's going to be like, I don't know who Taylor Swift is. What is that? Right? I mean, you have to assume that it's not just like you're turning on AI and you can ask it what's happening in the news today.
I know, but the problem is that Epic Games, a studio that I do respect, they did say that we have guardrails on the Darth Vader AI. And, like a week later, the Darth Vader AI was like, oh, we should totally have all immigrants out of this country or whatever like that, So it's like...
But I don't know. It's new. It's nascent. Give it some time, It's so cool. You get to, for me, I guess that's just the difference between brains. My brain goes, oh my God, I can have a real conversation with Darth Vader. And yeah, it's going to be a little kludgy and broken from time to time, but oh my God, it feels like Darth Vader's real. And someone else goes, but what if you break it? And I'm like, I don't know. It's not broken now. Just, I don't know. It's cool.
But it does break. That's the issue. It's like,
so
for me,
does it break all the time? And even if it does,
it broke enough where they had to take it down. So because there was one person who was like, the AI won't stop talking. Like it just kept talking to players, no matter what, So it was just on its own or whatever.
But
it was talking complete nonsense.
You're not suggesting then just don't do it, right? I mean, you can complain about it, but still applaud the fact that we're moving towards the holodeck. We're moving towards data. The fact that, I mean, you know, I'm a little older than you. The fact that I can now literally just talk to a computer. But back when I was a teenager, it was a joke in Star Trek 4 when Scotty picks up a mouse because he went back in time and he thought it was a microphone to talk to the computer. And he's like, computer? And it's like, I can walk into a room now and talk to my Amazon Plus character. I'm not going to say the name. And it, you know, I just think that's so fucking cool, man. I just think that's so fucking cool.
It would be cool if it worked that cool. That's the issue,
yeah,
you know?
But look, man, remember in the 90s, there's a movie called LA Story, right? With Steve Martin, okay? And in the movie, this is set in like 93, 94, he has a phone that is voice activated. And he basically presses a button and says, call mom. And then it's like it rings and it says, hello, Domino's Pizza. Would you like to hear about our specials? And it was a joke because it worked so poorly. But now it understands pretty much everything for the most part. And it's like, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, it's just growing pains, and it sucks that the public has to see it all the time, and we're being subjected to it all the time. And it does suck that all this money is being poured into it. Like we really can't figure it out any other way. Like maybe we should, like it is extremely fast growing tech. It is impressive. I think it is impressive. You know, but that said, though, it's like, you know, like I'm not against ChatGPT. I've used it as a decent search engine, right? Yeah. I was just talking about how I get tired of therapy. You know, I stopped therapy in 2019, right before the pandemic. The reason why is because it was expensive. It was costing me $250 a session. Yep. That's a lot of money. That's $1,000 a month if I wanted to go every week. Unfortunately, I was able to talk my therapist down to only twice a month. Yeah, there's still $500 extra that I don't have, and I'm still spending $3,000 a month on fucking rent, and I don't even make that much money. Right. So I decided to stop, and then the pandemic happened, and then, you know, my mind just went off the rails or whatever like that. So it's like, after this whole cancer thing, and it's like I want to do therapy again. I wanted to find it cheaply, so I asked ChatGPT. I was like, can you find me some cheap options for therapy in the Washington, D.C. area? Right. And they actually found something. They were like, hey, the American University actually has this program where they let graduate students analyze people. And it's just $50, 30 to $50 a pop, you know? And it is being overseen by a professor who is like a licensed therapist already and everything like that. So it's like, okay, well, that's cool. So I'm doing that now. And ChatGPT helped me find that. Yeah, which is awesome. But then recently, it's just been getting worse and like feeding me wrong information. So it's like, I wanted to get better, but sometimes it just gets worse, you know. And I've talked about this ad nauseum for a while, but like I've been using an AI transcription service for years, for a decade now, you know. So it's not like AI tools is new to me. We were making AI chatbots in 2016 at the Washington Post. Okay. So we were ahead of this before we were behind, right? So I'm used to this stuff, but it's just disheartening to see to see this become digital decay, kind of, you know, instead of just becoming just universally just a better experience overall, you know. Yeah, I mean, I guess because I hop around, right? Like we canceled our ChatGPT after the whole military thing, but we were barely using it anyway because Google Gemini has lapped it. And Google Gemini is substantially better now than ChatGPT. So, but yeah, I guess maybe it just comes down to the type of person you are then. Because for me, I'm so enjoying the coolness of the technology. And that doesn't mean I don't see the negatives of it when it comes to the societal rot. That's going to happen. And I don't know how we're going to solve that. But we're not putting the genie in the bottle. So we're going to have to solve it somehow, or there'll be a revolution and who knows what goes. But I enjoy so much living in this kind of sci-fi realm that we're getting into that I only dreamed of when I was a kid, that I'm more than willing to forgive, you know. So the first, you know, the DLSS 5 thing, the first image of Grace, even though I thought it was cool, let's say a lot of people didn't think it was very cool. And like you said, just don't turn it on. But eventually it'll be great. And more importantly, I also wonder, if you do have a team that doesn't have a lot of money, but you do run a AA game through it, does your AA game, like that late, it wasn't a great game, but like the last Alone in the Dark with David Harbour and whatever that kind of came and went, you know, but it's like a decidedly middle tier, middle of the road piece of execution visually.
if you turn that on with this, would suddenly, hey, I can piss with the big boys now. Like people don't know. And maybe the reason they're spending money on it is the same reason Crimson Dawn just sold 2 million copies in a day, because the graphics, that's what sells.
Well, I made this point a couple of months ago, and a lot of people got mad at me. But it's like people were so mad at Larian Studios and the Baldur's Gate 3 studio, suddenly come out and saying like, "Oh, we're going to use Gen AI in development of Divinity," right?
Yeah.
And people were so mad, and I'm like, "Why are you guys so mad? We just gave Expedition 33 11 awards at Game Awards." And they freely admitted to using Gen AI. They go around doing interviews saying, "Oh yeah, we totally use Gen AI." And then they had to come out
beyond what they got quote caught for with the stuff on the poll, you mean?
Look,
you think it was used a lot more than just that, is what you're saying?
I like they did say that it was just for those placeholders. So I'm going to be clear on that, right?
Yeah.
That is the only facts that we have. I personally think that that it was used a lot more. Because I've asked them about it the whole time, and I could see it on their faces. They're like, "Yeah, we did use it, like kind of thing, versus like, "Oh no, we don't like it. We tried it and we don't like it at all." Like that level of confidence wasn't there. Versus, we did use it, but we decided to not to use it.
Right.
Versus like, oh no. There was no like immediate stronger pushback on it, other than it looked like that they're like, shit, we did use it, And
it doesn't really. I mean, would you agree?
And so that's why, like Crimson Desert, I think they're lying too, because it's like, you're Korean. What the fuck are you doing? You know that you use this.
It's like,
you knew that you used this.
We sent out photographers to get every single texture and material from the actual rocks in Jerusalem or wherever the fuck the game. I mean. The funny part about it too is I don't think it's hit the bottom line of any of these companies. People are still buying these games, even.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, it's a lot of it is. I mean, that's the thing. Like, people will say that the polling shows that people are against AI, but it's like you go out on the street and it's like, man, you'll meet regular moms who'll be like, no, I use ChatGPT all the time to figure out what the shopping list is for my school supplies for my kids or whatever like that. Like I've literally heard that example. Like I don't go grocery shopping without asking ChatGPT to figure out what I should be buying for groceries, which is fucking crazy. But to me, it's like it's there, it's out there.
Well, and I think if any of these people had run a company or even maybe balanced their own fucking checkbook or something, because it's like, I mean, my example is like, okay, forget video games. If you're fucking Kellogg's, and it's like, we need to get a new image of Tony the Tiger for Frosted Flakes. Do we want to spend $6,000? Or do we want to do it, in 3 days and use AI? Well, what are you going to... I mean, come the fuck on. You would do the same.
But, look, as someone who knows a lot of photographers, the photography industry has been completely wrecked because of... Not just because of AI, but because of social media, the advent of social media. So this feels similar to what happened in the early 2000s to photographers, where they're like, we know how to use a camera. You have to hire us, and it's going to cost thousands of dollars to hire a photographer. Versus people just having a phone, just doing it themselves.
Right.
And so, look, I work at the Washington Post. We just went through probably the worst layoff in media history. Right, half of our company is gone, including the entire photography department. All the photographers are laid off. All of them are gone.
So where do they get their images from for their stories now?
From other people.
Meaning what? Meaning, so if I went to the Oscars
wire
and
services,
I took some picture... Okay, right. Okay, got it.
Wire services and, fucking take it on your phone, man.
Yeah, I mean...
But it does destroy the art of photography, So, the guy... the famous photo of Trump getting shot and then him pumping the fist in the air with the fucking American flag in the background and the security, the Secret Service climb on him like it's a fucking flag of Iwo Jima or something.
Yeah, you mean
like
that very realistic, non-staged assassination attempt? Yes, I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
Yeah, we laid off that photographer. He took that shot.
Yeah. Well,
it was a famous shot that made Trump famous and everything like that, and it was an amazing shot, and we laid him off.
Did he was think there. That assassination was staged, by the way?
He's not going to say. So.
You know that fucking thing was staged like a goddamn stage.
I'm not touching this
And it
one.
just
to be
came
clear,
out.
everyone.
Oh, right,
everyone,
you can't say that. That's right.
I do not endorse anything that he's saying.
That's fair. That's
sponsors.
fair. But it did just come out now that Russia also, I forget what politician it was, some Eastern European country, I think, was suggesting they stage a fake assassination in order to buttress up the guy in the polls who's falling behind because they want that guy to win. So, Anyway, the bigger point, though.
I wouldn't be surprised at that. That's for sure.
The bigger point, though, to me is that I absolutely think there is, and maybe this is just because I think a lot about my emotional state, but I absolutely think there is a correct feeling of disappointment and fear and a sense of loss that has come around in the last 12, 13 years of culture and politics and being kind to people and social media. And I think maybe a lot of this hate is being put on the back of some of this stuff that I'm like, I don't know if that's where we should be putting our anger. I do think we've lost something. I think, and again, maybe it's being 54, and maybe any 54-year-old feels that way. And if you're 18, you think the future's so bright, you got to wear shades. I don't know. But I look at it and I go, the last 12 years has been, something has really gotten siphoned away, I think, from culture and from just quality of life. And maybe people are sensing that, or, I mean, do you feel that or no?
No, I predicted this way back in like the early 2000s, when you look at census data and you look at the political backgrounds of the people moving around the country and everything, right? You notice that even before the internet was really being proliferated, you saw people were moving to areas where people would agree with them, politically. Orange County was getting more red, certain places were getting more blue, the cities are getting more blue. And then the internet comes, Facebook comes, and then creates this the same version of that, where this digital society where there's no and if you go back and you'll literally see interviews of me saying this, but it's like there's no level of serendipity that should be coming with life, where you happen to just meet somebody who is comes from a completely different life experience than you, and you gotta just deal with that. You gotta navigate that somehow. Versus now, we have entire generations growing up in this segregated, I don't want to say segregated society, but like the society that's being separated on belief structures and life experience. And then they're suddenly exposed to someone who has a completely different view and perspective. And we are less equipped as people to be able to deal with that, Do
you think the quality of life, that's also one of the aspects of that is quality of life has suffered? Not just it's you have to deal with that, but it just feels like everything has, I mean, everything's always been about profit. Everything's always been about bottom line, but it feels like that has been so accelerated in the last 12 years that some of the joy has been taken out of just, people talk about third spaces, whether it is a video store or a bookstore or a quaint restaurant that shut down so a Burger King or whatever can move in. It just feels, I mean, I sense more of that loss lately, and I don't know if that's tied to a lot of becoming so siloed that maybe it allows people to just somehow support the people who just want to make money at all costs, and we don't really have any other North Star these days. I mean, am I glooming and dooming and that's not your perspective, or?
No, it is my perspective, especially in the digital space, right? So it's like I've been having a terrible time online because I keep fighting with people over Crimson Desert, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it's just, but before that, I was actually quite offline. Before Resident Evil 9 came out, and Resident Evil is my favorite series, so I wanted to be online to talk about it.
Yeah.
But before Resident Evil 9 came out, I was relatively quiet. You see me not being online, and that's because I was actually spending time with friends. I was actually catching up with like the regular journalists, like the White House reporters and people I've worked with over the years, columnists and political folks in DC. I'm actually going out there and touching grass. Guess what? I was fucking happy as fuck. It was so good to just talk to someone and just, like even people I disagree with or whatever like that. It's just nice to be able to sit down and talk to someone.
Pulls you
you
back
go online
in?
and it's just all tribal warfare.
It's horrible. So what?
Yeah.
But now you're back. I understand why you'd come back with RE9, but do you feel yourself being pulled like into it again with like Crimson and other things? Or
Of
do you
course,
think
yeah,
you're
because
gonna
I'm
shut
fucking
those
addicted.
doors?
That's why I'm fucking addicted. You know, I'm somebody who can't get over smoking and drinking. You know, I still want to drink like crazy. I thought I was over drinking, honestly. But you know, lately I've been like, God damn, I really miss a nice smoky whiskey. You know,
Right, right.
it's even saying that myself is like giving me like goosebumps and like it's having like a bodily reaction to me right now. So for me, social media is addictive, and I was able to kind of like oh, I got a taste of it again, and now I'm addicted again, and now I have to figure out a way
Yeah.
to get myself out of it again. And I'm gonna be focusing a lot more on work and stuff like that. So that's why I was like, you know what, I do have an interesting perspective on Crimson Desert, one that is very Korean, and I am Korean, so I feel like as a Korean games critic, I do feel like I do need to be. It is my responsibility to bring some Korean perspective.
Are you
to
going
what's
to
going on.
write about the game itself or just the AI aspect of the controversy?
No, not even the AI aspect of it as well. Well, I mean, I think that's part of it, but I will talk about the game itself. Like, I feel like a lot of people are like, "What kind of game is Crimson Desert?" And I think I have the perfect way to describe it, which I won't reveal here.
Don't ruin, but just tell me this. I was not going to buy it because of the reviews saying that it takes a very long time to get interesting. And even when it gets interesting, it's not that interesting, but it's only interesting because it's a lot of systems. Is that wrong in your opinion? I mean, there's no wrong, but I mean, do you think that's not been your experience, or do you think that's a valid?
That's totally the experience, but it depends on what you find value in. You know, I think if you really love exploration, like I do, like I actually do love open world games quite a bit.
Me too.
This is a next generation open world game. This is the first game I think in recent times where you can look at it and be like, this is different from what we had before.
Let me ask about that real quick. So when you say next generation and you love exploring, I do as well. But when I explore in a lot of games that claim to be good with exploring, more often than not, there's not much there. It's like I can go anywhere, but they haven't crafted that much interesting stuff to see. Does this game do better at that?
It does. I think there's quite a lot like interesting architecture, the different countries that are in this, because this game is so fucking massive. There's just whole different nations are completely different from each other. So, you know, like most people haven't even gone to the eponymous Crimson Desert themselves, you know, because that's like way far out in the distance. That's kind of like a goal for you to get to.
Okay. All right. Well, now I'm going to buy it. Now that you've said it, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to pick it up.
I mean, there's a whole country of steampunk stuff going on, you know? Like, that's...
Have you finished
kind
it?
of fucking
Have you
cool.
finished the game?
No, I haven't even finished it at all because it's so fucking long. I mean, that's the thing. Like, people get mad at me for comparing it to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and it's like, you don't get it. I loved Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I loved that game, but I only loved it after I fucking finished it, actually. You know, once I was getting to the 60-hour mark, and I was like, oh, now this game is really cooking because I'm actually into the rhythms of this game. And there are... to be clear, there is like 1,000 more stuff to do in Crimson Desert. So I think world-wise, it's just more interesting. But the story-wise, though, the story is awful. Like, so that's the thing.
That's not why I would play this for the story.
Like the game has a really hard time like establishing like a connection to the world, because it's like either very generic or just not kind of there. Like, there's a lot of non sequitur dialogue. The dialogue doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes. Which is why people get the impression that it was written by AI. I just think it was written by Koreans. Sometimes we just don't make any sense, you know.
Okay, I want to read you something real quick, and I know I don't. I'm gonna assume that when you're ready to bounce, you'll bounce because I know it wears you out.
I am getting a little winded, yeah.
Yeah. Let me just read you this before you go, if you don't mind, because this was one of the things that kind of scared me off, of picking it up. And I want to just know if this kind of fits your take on it. Let me just find it. Hang on.
Oh, yeah, someone's saying that Ragnarok and AC was great. I agree. The DLC was actually pretty great for AC Valhalla too.
Okay, so this
AC Valhalla is a very flat game. Like that's the difference between Crimson Desert and this game. Is that Crimson Desert does offer like a variety of like dynamic experiences. Whereas AC Valhalla is you go to this fort and you take it over, and you go do this puzzle and you find the thing, whatever like that. And Crimson Desert a lot of that too, but it's more varied and dynamic than that.
This is from Michael Saltzman, who I think writes for IGN.
Oh, Mitchell Saltzman, yeah.
Mitchell. Okay, so he says, I was asked what I meant by bullshit when I said You have to have a high tolerance for bullshit. If you do, you'll probably adore Crimson Desert. This is just one example. And this was his example. And I because this also turned me off, but maybe this is not the case. He says, for me, bullshit is getting to a boss, not having enough healing to deal with 3-phase fight, having to go back to the nearest teleporter to town, which for whatever reason is not in the town. And instead of just buying good healing pots, I have to instead go to the inn, get the 3 or 4 ready-made meals that they have in stock, go to the butcher, buy out the whole stock of meat, go to the grocer, buy a bunch of ingredients, use all of those ingredients to make maybe 2 or 3 good health restoring meals. And if that's enough, then I teleport back to the nearest waypoint, assuming I can find it, which is usually another 5 to 10 minute trek, watch all of the cutscenes for the boss again. There's no skip. And hope that what I brought was enough. Because if it's not, then I have to go looking for packs of animals to hunt. They're not marked on the map, so I have to rely on my own markers or just aimlessly wander, go to another blah blah blah. Is that the game?
That would be accurate if. See, this is why I know Mitchell. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
So anything I say is nothing against him or anything like that. And I think I've defended him many times. He's like IGN's pro player. Like people always make fun of game journalists being like bad players or whatever like that, which I can kind of see sometimes, but also it's an old joke and whatever. Let's get over it. But Mitchell is not that at all. He is somebody who can fucking play games, and he becomes a master of them. He is a master combo guy. He's a pro Zelda player, and he's the kind of guy who does all these tricks in the air and stuff like that. Awesome player. I think for him, but he's good at action games, right? He wouldn't have had that problem if he was just going around and fucking around and just hunting for meat in the first place.
Because he would have had the stuff he needed.
You would have just had the stuff already. Because if you decide to slow the fuck down and decide, because that's how I've been playing the game. Because when you're reviewing the game, you're like, oh, let me check out these systems. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me fight this boss. Right. Because fighting the boss is important to the experience, right? You would think. But because you're being rushed, you're like, oh fuck, I don't have enough meat. Then I had to go back to the fucking. But they actually did add the fast travel point into town after the game's release, which is so annoying. And that could have saved all of us so much fucking time, right? So the game, they're building the game as the plane is flying, basically, right? But he wouldn't have that problem if you just slowed down, and that's how I'm playing. You need a lot of wood to upgrade your starting gear, like your wooden shield and everything like that. So I decided to stop doing quests and go to do some forests with my fucking axe. Just chop some trees down, I got 20 limber. Or 20 timber. I went back to the blacksmith, and I was able to upgrade my shield to the maximum amount that I can do before I need these other artifacts or these other things that I can't find yet. So I'm like, okay, well, now I'm ready as I ever could be.
Okay.
And if you want healing items and it's tough to find, you tell yourself, okay, well, I should go around and be picking slabs of meat. So there's these little bandit camps, and they're all cooking. Fucking kill them, pick their meat.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I'm getting it. You've sold me, Gene Park. You've sold me.
So it's a hard game to love because you have to keep thinking about stuff like that. So I think, I make this point. It's like MMO players will feel at home because MMO players, that you can't just keep going, right? You have to stop, fucking grind a little bit. You have to like get some supplies, and then push on forward.
Got it. Okay.
So everything, his experience is totally valid. I think that totally makes sense, and that's totally frustrating. But if you played it another way, you wouldn't have that problem.
Right. Now, wouldn't it be great if we just had AI that was writing the game in real time, and it's like, oh, he's this kind of player. Let's mold the experience around him. Of course it would. Welcome the holodeck. It's coming, boys. No matter how hard you fight it, it's coming. Gene, thank you, bud. It is so good to see you, and you sound great. And I know you're tired, but it's delightful that you are back in the fight. But get off the social media, man. I'm trying myself as well, but
I do. I should. Yeah, I really got it, especially on Twitter. Well, not even especially on Twitter, man. People came oh, it's so bad on Twitter. It's it's actually bad everywhere, man.
Well, I don't know if you watched the beginning of the show, but I realize now Twitter has changed where it used to only serve you up by default the for you, and that was the algorithm farming engagement and hate and anger. But now it doesn't switch. So if you go over to people I'm following and then you go over to either popular or most recent, it doesn't change anymore. So now whenever I open Twitter the last 2 days, it's just the people I've chosen to follow. If they post something I don't like from someone else, it will appear, but I can say never do that for that person. I don't want to see, I want to follow, I didn't do this with you, of course, but I don't want to follow, Alexa, stop. I want to follow Gene, but I don't care what he reposts, right? So you can do that now, and it remembers it. And it's been just the last 2 days, it feels like old Instagram. It just feels like, oh, these are people I either know or I'm interested in, and I'm not getting all these assholes. And it's delightful. It's fucking delightful. So
Yeah. Well, good reminder. I should do that too. But yeah, someone in chat says, yeah, so you're grinding out for materials for hours. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Yeah.
That's the game. It is. These guys made an MMO where you don't need other people. And it's so funny to see people be like, well, that's just bad game design. And it's like, not if you do it good.
Yeah, and not if you like that. It's bad. It's just something it's not for you. I don't want to go fucking see the movies that were nominated for Best Foreign Film. It doesn't mean they weren't good movies. I just don't want to watch them.
Exactly. Yeah. There are plenty of, the interesting thing is that, you haven't played the series, I think. Xenoblade Chronicles, the trilogy.
No, I have not.
That was the kind of before. I think Final Fantasy 12 was actually first, but Xenoblade Chronicles was an attempt to make a single player MMO because they were like, why is only the West making games like Skyrim and World of Warcraft? Why can't we in Japan make a game that big and that expansive with our own systems and our own way of storytelling? And that's exactly what they did. And so Xenoblade Chronicles is a whole trilogy of what I think is the best RPG stories of all time. And they're all designed as single-player MMOs, and they're all compelling. The battle systems are interesting, and the story is so compelling that, again, I think it's the greatest story in video games.
Interesting.
Because you can make it like that. So, just because single-player MMO sounds like a bad idea doesn't mean that it can't be done. Again, Final Fantasy 12, I love that game. That game has a lot of issues, and the story isn't the best. I love the way the game is designed, the world is designed, and the combat system. A lot of people hate that game too. So
maybe this is what you were talking about, though, about touching grass and dealing with different people. Because, the fact that if I was sitting, like, if you're sitting with somebody who has a different opinion than you, you're not going to be like, you're just fucking wrong. You're an idiot. You're going to have to sort of go, oh, wait. All right, well, if I want to have a relationship with this person, whatever that relationship looks like, I need to kind of go, all right, well, let me deal with this in a way that's, human.
Yes.
And it's amazing, even that comment you read where it's like, well, that's just an MMO. It's like, yeah, shut up. He didn't say it wasn't. But it's so inflammatory, the language and the tone that you get from it. It's like,
exactly, like, oh, you're just grinding for hours. I'm like, yes, that is exactly what I said. You don't have to you don't have to say it like that. I'm just saying it like it is. It is that.
And he likes that, and that's okay.
Yeah. It is not a criticism against or for the game. I'm just saying that that's what the game is. You should be thinking more about what you're doing in the world and what you're collecting in the world.
Look what Micro 18 wrote. He's got to be trolling Gene Park of the Washington Post. Democracy dies in the dark. He's got to be trolling. He says, nah, it's the nah that gets me. Nah, Expedition 33 has a better story. Shut up, whore. Shut the fuck up.
It's a really funny thing to say.
This is why there's no God. Because Gene Park should not be the one with cancer or they got cancer twice. It should be Micro 18. Mr. Zero, you should have gotten cancer twice, not Gene.
Yeah.
Asshole.
But going back to Xenoblade Chronicles, what was I saying?
It was the best story, and it is an MMO that they made, but it's still trying to compete with Skyrim. But it's their take on it, right? Which is, I get. I mean, I think that's cool.
Yeah. And Crimson Desert is Black Desert Online, which I played and I enjoyed quite a bit. I had like about 30 hours in Black Desert Online, which is obviously not a lot of play for an MMO, but I wanted to try it. And I was like, this is fun. And that game also has weird fucking controls too. My problem with Crimson Desert is that the action gameplay, they made it, in my opinion, worse than Black Desert Online because Black Desert Online was a lot simpler and snappier. Versus, I was going to say Expedition. Crimson Desert is trying to fuse Red Dead Redemption movement with like Assassin's Creed style like movement combat, and it just feels like kind of weird for me.
Would you play
I
with
wish
keyboard or controller if you're going to play?
Controller.
Controller. Okay. All right. All right, Gene. I'll let you go. Obviously, but boy, what a joy! I'm so glad you're doing better, Gene. You're one of my favorite people that exist in this particular multiverse or version of the in this universe. Let me do that because I know.
I appreciate that. You're a good friend, and
yes,
if I ever have the energy and the wherewithal to come back and repeat the show again
every time, and once we can
that.
get
You still owe me money though, motherfucker.
I will honestly. I will. I was talking about that at the beginning of the goddamn show. Even I was just like, I am so bad at running businesses. Here's what I have to do. I have to go back to those shows. Then I have to look at the money just those shows made. Mm-hmm. Then I have to go, okay, what did YouTube pay me because they took their 30%, and then send you a check for half. And that's probably about a 45-minute job, which is not a big deal, but my ADD...
No, there's no rush. I don't need the money.
No, even if it doesn't matter if you need it or not, it's yours. So I just got to do it. So anyway, though, but yes, as soon as you're ready, if you're interested, I want to get that show back up and running. People really seem to enjoy it. I love doing it.
Yeah. If I do want to do anything like that, you'll be the second person I go back
absolutely.
to.
I understand. Well, at least you're not one of the people in Colin's orbit who doesn't like me. So, and we're talking.
Oh yeah, sure. No.
We're talking about that tomorrow on Colin's show. He doesn't know that yet, but I'll be on with Colin tomorrow. So you goddamn right.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. What the streams were interesting. You know that poor guy, that divorcee guy that you guys were going after a couple weeks ago. He actually DM'd me for some advice too.
He was really upset, and I'm like, dude, you're calling into a video game show. We're shooting the shit. We're busting your balls. I don't know what you should do. I'm not giving you real fucking advice, dude. What do you think this is? But,
yeah, I told him like fuck your family, dude. Just leave.
Yeah.
I was like, do your own thing, man. You don't own your family shit. So just totally
fuck those
good.
kids.
Yeah.
Goddamn right. All right, Gene, take care. Let's talk soon. I'm glad you're...
All right, man. Take it easy, buddy.
See you, bud.
All right. Thanks a lot, chat. Good to see you guys.
Well, now listen. There goes Gene Park of the Washington Post. Democracy does indeed die in the dark. Excellent. Gene, tell Jaffe about the masterpiece at Xenoblade Chronicles. He just did. Take Gene out to the Bunny Ranch in Nevada. That'll pay off the debt. Hey, I'm down with that. Jaffe, can you check some of the custom Fortnite Star Wars models? Yeah, but not right now. I'm actually kind of tired. I had some other topics, but I enjoyed that call so much more than the topics. I hope you guys did as well. What a nice surprise. Red Sheet says, Jaffe, my wife is leaving me. She's taking the kids. What should I have for breakfast tomorrow? Yeah, I don't know. But here's what I'll say. I may stream a game tonight. Hard to tell, but I know for sure Locale Crypt all week long, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. California. Tomorrow I am on Sacred streaming with Colin Moriarty at 7 to 9. I think, 7 to 9 and then 9 to, I think it's 10 o'clock my time, but whatever, that's happening tomorrow. And then I'm back all week with Gabbin and Games and stuff like that. So be well, be safe. Thank you for the super chats and the memberships and the conversation. Thank you, Gene Park, for coming by. What a delightful surprise. Really good to see Gene, and we'll see you soon. All right. Thanks, you guys. Bye, everyone.